So just for the record, it is right around 8:40 p.m. on Friday, March 28th, 2025. I've been quietly lying on my bed for the last 2.5 hours, starting at approximately 6 p.m. this evening, after a busy day of sending emails and having Zoom meetings and making a lot of phone calls, attending to business. And throughout the entire day, there was absolutely no use of any kind of electronic assault device on my person while I was in the process of sending emails, making phone calls, attending Zoom meetings, cleaning a little bit part of this place, washing dishes, things like that. However, as soon as I went down on my bed at around 6 p.m. to try to take a nap, the Greenville Group's resident paid psychopath, a mentally disturbed sex offender, obsessive stalker, and obvious psychopath named Jasmine Irizarry once again started using a directed energy weapon to electronically assault me over the last 2.5 hours while I've been quietly lying on my bed. These electronic assaults suddenly began occurring shortly after I went and lay down on my bed. And as I've reported in dozens and dozens and dozens of emails, voicemails, and videos sent to the Greenville Group over the last 5-6 years now, Jasmine Irizarry has continually engaged in the use of a highly illegal, deadly electronic weapon to electronically assault me in the privacy of this living space based on one of 3 or 4 very specific silent activities that I have the right to engage in while in the privacy of my unit that she has knowledge of, based on the fact that multiple staffers and maintenance managers at the Greenville Group have informed me that there is surveillance devices being used in this unit. And Irizarry has a problem with certain very specific activities that I engage in the privacy of this unit that are silent, that are routine, and that as a sex offender, she seems to get violently triggered by and very predictably begins to get disruptive, aggressive, and harmful about. One of these activities is lying on my bed, flat on my back, facing the ceiling. I sleep on my back, I have lower back issues, and I face the ceiling. As soon as I do that, Irizarry, the sex offending, perving, creeping psychopath who was, interestingly enough, an inmate at the Shattuck Hospital in 2006 when I was there doing a clinical internship as part of my PhD program training. And Irizarry was a psychopath even in 2006. That's why I can say that. And she was compulsively vomiting on staff at the Shattuck Hospital who had to wear protective gear around her because her compulsive vomiting was her trying to kill people by infecting them with the deadly virus she carries that is transmitted through body fluids. That's a fact. Every time I make a video and mention that one piece of information in it, she starts getting all violent and slamming things around in whatever unit she happens to be perving and creeping in that is literally adjacent to mine. So right now, she's somewhere in 78. There's intense amounts of sickening cigar smoke right now coming from the area behind my kitchen sink. That bathroom seems to be intermittently occupied by various people who behave in different ways. So I'm not sure what's going on in that bathroom, but Irizarry is once again doxing her presence in the area directly behind my kitchen sink by propagating sickening amounts of cigar smoke, and she's been doing this since 2013. She also has been using a directed energy weapon to electronically assault me repeatedly and almost continuously for the last 2.5 hours while I've been lying on this bed, silently, not bothering anyone. She is a mentally disturbed, obsessive, trash psychopath who is clearly refusing to do anything about her own mental health issues and just goes to town on other people, trying to destroy other people. She's jealous. She's obsessive. She's psychotic. Verifiably a psychopath. This is Jasmine Irizarry. She's also a sex offender. She was listed in the Massachusetts Sex Offender Registry in 2016 or 2017 before they seem to have changed their rules about who they list. And apparently, if you're autistic, which Irizarry evidently is, it's pretty obvious to anybody with half a brain when you even observe her behavior at a distance, as she likes to stand or hover around in the hallways and stairwells of this building. In the past, I've unfortunately had to see her at a distance, and she affects these creepy, disturbing facial expressions when she has an idea that you're coming towards her, and she makes these disgusting faces that are really disturbing. And that's how you know she's just not right in the head. Most people just keep a straight poker face if you're walking towards them and they have to walk past you. Not Irizarry. She's really disturbed. And Mr. Oleg Alisiev, the property manager of the Greenville Group, has bragged about her criminal abilities and activities on multiple occasions. So there is an implication when he's bragging about her abilities that he has something to do with them. Right? When you go to your property manager and say, hey, this person is doing this and she's doing that. She picked the lock to my door. She keeps shutting off my phones when I call management about the fact that she's picking the lock to my door and standing in my doorway. So is she a hacker or something? Mr. Aliseyev's response, oh, she's such a talented, you know what? She can get into anything. She can hack into anything, and she can take care of any problem. Those are his exact words, because he himself is a sociopath who thinks that he's above the law and flaunts rules and regulations. He thinks he's not going to be held accountable for engaging in illegal activities, such as landlord-tenant harassment by using mentally disturbed psychos to harass these tenants that he doesn't like. Mr. Alisyev has no problem bragging about Jasmine Irizarry's abilities and her activities. So the fact that she's using a directed energy device is a fact, and this continues to happen. I just left a voicemail for the Greenville group, and because I now have, the ability to hire an attorney and litigate this case, and maybe he'll do a better job than I would be able to do representing myself, then I'm going to do that. They refuse to address the behavioral issues of this mentally disturbed homicidal psychopath. She keeps trying to literally kill me when I'm lying on my bed. That's a silent activity that nobody should have any knowledge of. But the use of this directed energy weapon occurs within just a few minutes of me lying on my bed. It's very activity specific. It's also surveillance based because, again, it's such a silent activity that nobody, not even anybody who's, sitting 5 feet away from me with a blindfold on, should have any knowledge that I'm lying on my bed or what position I'm in or what direction I'm facing. But the use of this directed energy weapon is so specific that it only occurs when I'm lying on my bed, flat on my back, facing the ceiling. If I turn over, then it doesn't happen. She also does this when I'm sitting on the toilet. Again, there's no electronic equipment or electronic source for any possible electrocution while I'm lying on my bed or when I'm sitting on the toilet, especially with the door closed, lights off, or even when I'm showering. Those are the three activities Irizarry seems to be psychotically triggered by based on her ability to access surveillance footage, obviously, of what I do in the privacy of this living space and bathroom. And then because she's a sex offender, she gets all jiggy and worked up and starts electronically tasering me with a directed energy weapon that is very easy for people to obtain. And you can even make your own based on instructions that are found on the internet. And 60 Minutes and CBS News have all made documentaries evidently documenting the use of directed energy weapons by Russian groups and entities. The landlord of this beautiful, stunning building complex is a Russian family named the Korytniks, and Mr. Oleg Alisyev is also Russian and is a property manager. Alisyev is not a Ukrainian name. It is a Russian name. Okay, so he's Russian. The Russians like to use directed energy weapons to electronically assault people in the United States. And as documented by 60 Minutes and CBS News, they like to do that to private U.S. citizens for whatever reason. And it keeps happening to me. I have no idea. Well, I do have an idea why. But their use of a directed energy weapon is illegal, constitutes attempted homicide, and it will be litigated in court. So there we go.